Hi, and welcome back to the Who Are They podcast. We're really excited that you're back for our fourth episode.
Is
so
this
exciting.
really number 4?
It really is.
Wow.
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Abby. We usually start with our catch up. So, how was your week? What did you do? What's new?
My week was marvelous. So, on Sunday, Monday night, we got a bit of a snowstorm. And I was at first making fun of this snowstorm because it was projected. We were only supposed to get 1.5 to 3 inches of snow. And they're like, oh, we probably won't even be at school on Wednesday. And I was like, that's crazy. But then we ended up getting 6 to 9 inches of snow.
Whoa.
Which is, they had no idea what to do here in Nashville for that. So we already didn't have school on Monday because it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So we had that off.
Right.
But I have not been to school all week. I have had every single day off this whole week.
Christmas break, snowstorm break, spring break.
And it has been fantastic because, snow days are the best because you don't have anything planned. It's not like you're prepping for the future because you were already prepped for this week. So you're just chilling. And the roads were actually kind of bad, the first day. But they weren't horrendous. The horrendous part was that it took them so long to plow all of these roads. And they probably just don't have as many plow trucks, so it takes longer. But there were some main roads that didn't get plowed for 3 or 4 days.
Well, I saw something online, and I can't remember where I saw this. I think it was some music artist or something that lives in Nashville. And they posted this thing that was somebody complaining about the plows in how the plows weren't working right, and they were like, I was driving down the road today and I saw this plow set up and it was wrong. Instead of pushing the snow to the side of the road, it was pushing it to the middle, and the other side was pushing it a different way, whatever. Okay. And then the city or something commented back and was like, we're waiting for your application or something like that. And it was just so stupid, but so funny.
That is so funny. Well, and then we got, it started to melt. They got some roads cleared, but they didn't get them cleared fast enough. So it started to melt a teeny bit, and then we went way below freezing. So now they're all sheets of ice. So all the side roads, they're having trouble getting. So our superintendent called us on Friday. Actually, not our superintendent. He emailed us. The famous person in Nashville, her name's Carol Birdsong. If you're from this area, everybody knows who she is. But she's the secretary for the superintendent, and she calls. She's the one that goes, hi, this is Carol Birdsong. And as soon as you hear her name, you're like, snow day.
Oh.
So she only brings good news. So she's like a micro celebrity here.
That's hilarious.
But she's the one that calls on Friday, and then she was like, we're still concerned about the roads being good for the buses on Monday morning.
Are you kidding?
So we're like, we'll call you Sunday night whether or not we're going to have school Monday morning. And the thing about Monday's supposed to be 40 degrees later in the day. It's supposed to warm up.
Right.
But the morning's not. And the school I work for is in a really big county. So there's a lot of rural roads.
So they've got to travel.
Right. And they've gotten the main stuff, but all the side roads are still awful. So they're like, Monday morning it might be awful, but then by Monday afternoon it's supposed to be 40 degrees. Next week it's supposed to be in the 50s and 60s. This is our 1 week of winter, and our town's shut down. But I've been driving everywhere,
Yeah. I
got 4-wheel drive on my car. I've been going to the coffee shop. I've been toting my boyfriend around because he's not from the north.
It's we have snow still covering the ground on every side road. It is slippery on every side road. When I hit the gas going around a corner, the back of my car is slipping around. That's normal.
That's too much. We can't be risking it,
Yeah.
We've still only used 4 of our 10 snow days. We have 10 of them in our schedule.
How do you have 10?
I don't know.
That's
how they built the schedule. Well, I think because we must go, because we go through almost all of May, but we start at the beginning of August.
Okay.
But we have a lot of breaks. Anyways, I have been laying around. I have been going to coffee shops and working. Actually, for the first time in my life, you want to know something that's kind of exciting?
What?
I became a regular at this coffee shop. Like I walked up to the counter
Oh.
and the girl knew my order.
That's kind of a big deal.
Well, I know. And it's like, I was there a lot this week, but other than that, and this was like the first day. So
Yeah.
it was like, I came a lot this week. But the first day, she like pointed at Jacob and she was like, Cuban. And he's like, yeah. And she pointed at me and she goes, vanilla latte. And I was like, yes. And I know it's a pretty basic drink, but I
But
would only come in there like
still.
every other weekend.
Yeah.
And she knew my order. And so I'm a regular, and that's
What
something
a
I really wanted to
barista.
achieve in my life.
She's a real barista right there.
Yeah. But then the next day, we go in, and she's not taking our order, but she's working there. And Jacob orders a mocha instead of a Cuban, which he does all the time, but usually at this coffee shop, he opens a Cuban. And this lady, like, dropped her cup and was like, oh my gosh. she was like,
That's
she was like,
so funny.
sorry, that shocked me. And I was like, okay. But thank you.
Wow.
I had a great week.
That's good. Do you have anything else?
No, that was really it.
Okay, because I was going to cut you off and begin mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
My week felt so long. We did not have Monday off, even though it was MLK Day. We had a professional development day, so I still had to be at work for meetings all day. And then just like, I just feel like this week was so overwhelming for me with like a lot of different things happening in life. But aside from all the overwhelming, I have a very funny story, or at least I think
Okay.
it's really funny. Okay.
I'm pumped.
So, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I downloaded dating apps again. Okay. And I don't
I love
download.
this journey for you.
Thank you. I'll have them for a little while, right? And then I get sick of it, so I get rid of it. And sometimes, like, I think I've gone out with 3 to 4 guys total over like
Wait.
the past year. Okay.
You've
Like,
actually gone out on dates?
yes.
I did not know that part. I thought you were just chatting.
Okay, but when I say that, I mean like one was in the fall, like months
Okay.
and months ago. The other one was like in the summer or something like that. Okay, like a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm on there, match with some guy. we chit chat a little bit, just a few messages back and forth. And he's like not from super close, right? And I'm like, I'm not doing the thing where like somebody drives to see somebody else. Like I'm just not. I think that's a waste of time, especially when you haven't met somebody.
Right.
So this guy,
how far away does he live?
it doesn't matter.
I want to know.
So anyways, then I can't give anything away that gives this man's identity away. Anyways, so I need to protect him, okay? Anyways, so I need to regather my thoughts. Okay, message this guy. I'm like, he alludes to something of like us doing something together, which one gave me a little bit of an ick right away. But then I was like, okay, it's fine. Like I'm on here to talk to people anyways. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, well, I love your confidence, buddy, but like, I don't want to waste your time or my time. So like, if we just plan a phone call or a FaceTime, that'd be great. And so he's like, okay, sounds good. We plan a FaceTime for Tuesday evening. Okay, I get on. And let me preface this whole thing by saying that he was a nice person. It was entertaining. And I'm not even sharing all the things we talked about or all the things that like happened.
Right.
But I'm going to go through some of my red flags that I know aren't red flags for real. Okay. Like these aren't like actually red flags. But to me, it was like, no. Okay. So we start this whole thing, blah, blah, blah. We talk about a bunch of stuff. Like the random, like get to know you questions and everything. As we're talking, this man, and I wish I could demonstrate it, but as we're talking, this man, and you know how like everybody has a thing that they do when they're a little bit uncomfortable. Like some girls play with their hair. Like,
Right.
People do stuff. This man just kept like moving his eyes back and forth. Like it was
Oh.
like side to side.
Like really noticeable.
Noticeable enough that I noticed.
That's true.
And
Side to
that's
side?
that's probably weirder on FaceTime. Maybe.
I no. Because
don't know.
if you were on a date with someone, you would also be looking at their face.
True. Anyways.
But also, there's not usually like, well, I was going to say, there's probably a lot more behind your computer screen that maybe he's looking at.
maybe. And that's what you don't know. But
That's true.
whatever. Then find out he's an only child. Okay? And only children don't normally give me like total
Is that a red flag for
yeah,
you?
just a little bit. And now it totally depends on circumstances because I know some only children that are wonderful. But only children have just been spoiled their whole lives. Like
That's
they
true.
get all their parents' time. I don't know. Anyways, then I found out he so we keep talking in like he's a soccer fan, okay, and I love soccer. We find out that like the team that I love and support, he likes and like loves the team that like is the absolute rival to my team. Okay?
Oh,
and I
no.
hate that team. So we're talking, he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to hate me." I'm like, "I don't know you, dude." Anyways, he's like, "Oh no, this is not good news." And I'm like, "What? Like, why are you freaking out?" And then he's like, "I'm a City fan." Because they're like called Manchester City. And I was like,
Oh.
oh, that is bad. And like, I'm just like going along with the whole thing. Like at this
Right.
point, I so knew we were not going to talk again. But I'm like,
now you're just having a good time.
yeah. Then I was just like enjoying myself. So I'm like, oh, like, okay. So yeah, that's bad. And then he's like, "Yeah, we are just going to be a household divided." And I was like,
Ew.
and I was like, "What is wrong with you? Who says that?" On a
Like he
first-
sounds like he's trying to flirt, but like that was aggressive flirting.
No, but it was like aggressive the whole time. Like, I'm not kidding. When like every topic we talked about, it was like, "Oh, it's really good we're on the same page about that because like blah blah blah." And then he like is talking about if he comes to visit me, maybe he'll wear all of his city like clothes and like stuff that he has, and then my family would hate him too, blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And then, so he like kept mentioning a future, but not like just a future, our future. And then-
on a first date.
Yeah, but it like wasn't even a date. It was just like we're FaceTiming, talking, like sort of a date, I guess. But it's more just like,
right.
do we enjoy each other enough to like actually go somewhere?
Right.
Whatever. So then, I love to ask people the question, "What's your least favorite chore?" Okay, because and no, this is so for real. Like I genuinely think that this is so important because
Okay.
whatever somebody's least favorite chore is the chore that you will be doing for the rest of your life if you marry them.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, this man is like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's a red flag. Like the fact that you just don't have a least favorite chore at all.
Right. Everybody has one.
Right. And then he's like, maybe mucking the stalls. And I'm like, that's
the
not a
heck?
household. I grew up with horses, okay?
Yeah, but nobody else does that.
I
yeah,
know.
of course you're gonna hate mucking the stalls and that. Is that shoveling poop out of stalls?
I know. then the last part of this story is that we're sitting there talking, and in our messages, planning our time, like the time
Okay.
that we were going to talk. I was like saying, "I'll get home from work, but I'm free for such and such a time in the evening." And he's like,
Okay.
"Okay, why don't you like eat dinner before you call and then give me a call, whatever." Okay. At the end of this conversation, I think something comes up that I hadn't actually eaten dinner yet. Like I'd come home from work, I'd had a snack, but I hadn't eaten dinner and I was planning on eating after we got off the phone.
Okay.
This man gets so fixated on the fact that I had not eaten my dinner that he's like, "Oh my gosh, maybe you should go. I don't want you starving like the first time that we're talking." And then we like talk for a few more minutes. And then he's like, "Are you sure you don't need to go eat?" And I'm like, if you want to get off the phone with me, just tell me you want to get off.
Just yeah,
But
just say,
also,
like, this
like-
isn't working out.
But it also, I don't know if it sounded like that. It was more like he was just so fixated on the fact that I hadn't eaten that I was
He
like, this is
sounds
so weird.
creepy.
I know.
Like
But here's the
aggressive.
deal.
Like if you were dating him, he would date you aggressively.
Yeah. Like, and he was a nice person. Like, he just had some very quirky things about him. Like,
So
the,
it's
the,
not
the call
no
was
second
enjoyable.
date?
Oh, heck no. No. It was,
funny.
but that was my week. It brought a little bit of joy and funniness to it.
well, good. I'm glad.
I know. All right. What's your history?
Okay, so I have it uploaded on here, so let's make sure it actually went in. But I'm really excited about our history today. It is, and I think it's really funny, and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to have some good memes about it, but you're going
Okay.
to have to pull it up. So this is the history of the day.
I know
I'm
what
really
it
excited.
is. I know what it is.
I just love you screaming in the background already.
I love and hate this video because I am so over the top. Also, this is staged.
Oh, for sure, because
We
I said I
staged
have
this.
something to show you, and you said, wait. So where she's at right now is the bathroom. Like she's hiding in the bathroom.
No, that's you. You're hiding in the bathroom. I'm videotaping.
No, you are hiding in the bathroom. Oh no, I am.
Yeah, because you're about to come out and give me something.
Oh yeah. I'm hiding in the bathroom. This is staged.
Okay.
I just watched this too.
Oh dear God.
Will you be my Valentine?
Okay.
I think every part of this video is fantastic.
Just the fact that the entire time is me going, ah!
And the close-ups on the different things, and you're screaming again, like the
I know.
donuts, the flowers,
Oh my word. I think that day in history was wonderful. It gets extremely annoying so fast.
Yes, so much
Because-
screaming.
Because all you hear is my scream. And then I just love the fact that it's staged. Like
Oh,
the fact
yes.
that we set that whole thing up. And it was so important because we had gone out for Valentine's together the year before that.
Right.
And
But we'd already
You had-
talked about going out again.
right, but you had just gotten a boyfriend that January or
Mhm.
been talking to somebody, and I was so scared that we weren't going to go out for Valentine's together.
Yeah, so I did this whole thing because, well, when I first started talking to this boy, Abby and I used to email each other when we were at work because we both had campus jobs. So we were sitting in front of a computer. So we'd email each other, and I remember I was telling her all about it, and I signed it, Your One and Only Valentine, because we had just talked about going on a Valentine's date together, and then I was telling her I had a boyfriend now, and so I was really nervous. She'd be mad at me, but I wanted to reassure her we were still going out on that day. And so then I was like, well, I'm going to go get her donuts and flowers. So she
And you
really
wanna know
feels
what?
special.
I those donuts. I think I ate one that day or something like that. Or no. Maybe my roommate ate one of them or something. I ate 5 of those things in one sitting. I'm not even joking. I have a video of me just like, I must have sent it to you, but being like talking to the camera and just being like, I think I'm gonna eat all of these. Should I do it? And then later, it's like, oh yeah, they're gone. Like I ate them all. And I have never done that in my life. I must have been
Those
really
were
hungry.
pretty big donuts, too.
I know.
That's insane. Yeah, and they for those of you that are just listening and not watching, so I walk in and I have a box of 6 donuts. There's 6 of them, and they're the big heart-shaped ones.
Yeah.
Were they filled with stuff too?
I think they might have been.
And I took red frosting, like the red glittery frosting, and I wrote on them, "Will you be my Valentine?"
Mm-hmm.
Very cute, and gave her a bouquet of flowers. But you ate 5 of those donuts. That's insane.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But also good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, on an actual Valentine's Day, we spent the night together. I think my boyfriend at the time, we just got coffee that day. And then Abby and I spent the rest of the day together.
Yeah, we went out for dinner and stuff.
It was so fun.
Which, tune in a few weeks, the week of Valentine's Day, we will be talking more about those.
Oh, yes. We have so much
excursions.
to talk about for that.
Anyways, let's jump into our topic this week. It is quarantine. So our topic nicely flows from last week to this week. Because we went from our mission trips straight home and we were in quarantine. So to kick off this topic, I've got my journal and I wrote, we're back from spring break and COVID-19 is taking over the world. Gatherings over 50 are banned. Restaurants, movie theaters, and lots of other places are closed. Lots of people are working from home. San Francisco is on 24-hour lockdown for the next 3 weeks. School is online until April 6th. MSU and Michigan already went online for the rest of the year. Isn't that insane?
That is insane to read now because that sounds like the beginning of like a sci-fi novel or like a
I know.
dystopian novel.
I know. And when I say that like they're online till April 6th, I wrote this on March 17th. So that was almost like a month of schools being online.
Right. And then eventually they did go all online.
Right.
But because it started out over spring break, they were like, we're going to be closed for an extra week.
Yeah.
And then this must have been the day where they're like, yeah, actually we're closed till April 6th. Which, that sounds crazy. I remember at the time I was recording like a little vlog every day of like the new updates.
Yeah.
And it was like martial law is being like done in California. Walmart is now closing at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I know. It was wild. And I remember going, like, at the time, going to the grocery store and things, like, there would be nothing in there. Like, I mean, there'd be things, but compared to normal, there would be nothing in there because people would go in and they thought the world was ending and they were shut in their homes. And so they would go, there was no toilet paper anywhere. There was, like, the meat section.
Yeah, I have a video of this. I remember one time we were walking in and the meat section was like obliterated. There was not a thing in there.
Yeah.
Insane.
I know.
And one time our roommate, we couldn't find toilet paper anywhere because it was out. So one of our roommates, she like went out to go find some and she comes back with disintegratable. Is that how you say that?
Sure, yeah.
Toilet paper. So, like, it was supposed to disintegrate.
Stop.
And I remember I was like, absolutely not. I said, we will find regular toilet paper. It has not come to this. And I think she went, her dad lived in town. She traded her dad for regular toilet paper.
That is so funny.
I did feel a little bit bad about that. But I wasn't ready for that.
No, I wouldn't have been either. Oh, my gosh. I remember I loved quarantine.
Oh, me too.
But while I say I loved it, I think it was really hard. Like, we argued a little bit, but I think it was my fault that our house argued. Because I remember we got back from spring break, people, like, went home to do laundry and then come back. And my parents almost didn't let me go back to the house. Because my dad's a doctor, and he was, like, really concerned about COVID and was, like, being careful and following all the rules that everybody was saying, like, stay in your house, like, lockdown, all this stuff.
Right, because at that time we really didn't know. And also, there was, like, they were trying to, like, say, like, if you cannot travel from one household to another, like, you could get in trouble for that.
Yeah. So my dad had told me, fine, you can go back to school, but if you're going to go back to school, you're staying with your house, you're only doing things with your house, and no one from your house is seeing anybody else. Which was what the law had, like, stated, but being college students, we wanted to hang out with the men's house and count ourselves as one household, you know, even though we lived in two different houses, whatever.
But also, like, then we can, like, they're still seeing everyone, and so we're like, well, we can't make sure we're not. I feel like most of the girls, I feel like that stayed in the house because not all of them stayed there that year.
Right.
Some of them had gone home and they were staying at home. Most of the girls that were staying in the house had like been fine with it. Like we're chill with it. We were having a really great time. Just us. We were fighting a little bit, but for like overall, we were having a good time.
It was mostly fun. I think I felt guilty because you guys would have hung out with the men's house if it weren't for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
And-
looking back on it now too, I think we had way more fun than we would have.
I know. Yeah. and then I ended up leaving because a few people came back and they were going to be hanging out with other people, and I knew that wasn't going to fly with my family. But I was there for a good 3 weeks, and we had a blast.
Yeah, because we could there was nothing to do. Nobody was about.
I know. Well, I will say I came back from spring break, and at first it was boring because we're sitting there and we're like, what do we do? All of our classes are online. Like, what's happening? And I remember coming back, and last week I talked about the boy that I had a crush on for a little while on my
yes.
trip.
Mm-hmm.
And in my journal, I wrote that I was getting bored, that classes online were harder. And then I just write, I'm also a little sad that cute Southern boy never messaged me after Texas because I wanted him to. And he gave me a lot of attention while we were there.
Oh.
And then I go on being like, it's okay though. I need to learn to be content in whatever's going on in my life. And to be honest, COVID was such a fun time to just like hang out with each other. And also just like, because we had so much downtime, like I think I spent so much time being able to like read my Bible and do devotionals and like actually like spend time with God too, which I thought was super cool.
Right. And there was just, like you said, so much time where I remember the days started to blend together.
Yeah.
And at the time, all of my classes, like some of our roommates, I don't know if you had this, would have classes that would meet at certain times during the week and you'd
Right.
meet via Zoom.
Yeah.
My teachers were all like, we're not going to do that. Here's a final project. Turn this in and you're done with the semester. Every single one of my
Stop.
classes did that. I never, ever had to meet for a Zoom. I think there was one Zoom.
But were you
That-
pre-student teaching?
No,
Oh.
this was the semester before I was pre-student teaching. So I
Oh.
was I think I just had 5 regular classes. Some of them were like history classes. Some of them were educational classes. And I think maybe I had to meet for one Zoom for like the rest of the semester. And we still had over half the semester left. But it was all because
That's
like,
weird.
I think they were trying to figure out what they were supposed to be doing. But then because I'm an education major, they were like, well, we don't want to intrude on your home. So if you don't feel comfortable, like even if you show up, your camera doesn't have to be on.
Oh, yeah.
So that was really nice. But no, my days blended together because literally I had nothing ever on my schedule. I never even had to meet on Zoom calls. And I remember being like, I
wish.
have an assignment. It would be like 10 p.m. one day and I'd be like, I have an assignment due the next day. And I go, what's it matter? I can stay up all night and do it and then sleep in because there's nothing that I have to do tomorrow.
That is so nice for you. I
It
remember
was
having
a
to
good
go
time.
to every single class still, all online. Like some of them would make us turn on our cameras. Like it was horrible.
Not a single. Yeah, no, and they took out so many assignments. I remember at least 2 teachers were like, yeah, you just have a final paper. Write
Well,
that
because
and turn it in.
They didn't know what to do.
Right.
They weren't prepared to go online.
Yeah. I feel like especially, well, one of my classes that I was taking was like how to teach social studies. So all we were doing were making whole units. And so she's like, oh, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Just finish this unit and turn it into me. You know, like,
Oh,
because
yeah.
every week we would just kind of meet and talk about stuff. We didn't have a lot of assignments otherwise. So she's like, I think she's like set up a phone call and called me once, just checked in because she was a really nice lady. But she called it. She called the shutdown.
Really?
It was like 2 weeks before spring break. And she goes, I just want you guys to know that this is going on over in China right now. And she goes, and I'm going to start making a game plan in case we have to shut down as well.
Wow.
But then also, we didn't really do anything after the shutdown. So
Yeah, she didn't plan anything.
she called it.
Okay, I want to read one more thing I put in my journal because
Okay,
it's
please
really
do.
funny. Obviously the beginning of quarantine for me, I was thinking about boys a lot. I don't really know exactly why, but
We both were.
were we really?
Because we couldn't see them.
Actually, yeah, that's
It was a
true.
house full of girls. We weren't allowed to go see boys, so they were like that untouchable thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, in my journal, I write, Okay. So Grace and I shared a bedroom. So we must have been laying in bed late at night. I write, last night I was talking to Grace and said, my mind says one thing and my brain tells me another. And Grace goes, about what? And I say, boys. And Grace goes, what boys? We're in isolation. The Lord sends a virus and you still can't get a hold of yourself.
Yeah, like even if they gave you attention, who are you gonna see?
Exactly. And the fact that I wrote that conversation down is absolutely hilarious to me.
That is funny.
Another thing that I found, I was going through pictures. And in my pictures, I found this photo and I was like, what the heck is this? This tells you how bored we were. I probably spent a while on this. I found a picture and it's of a little whiteboard. Okay? And on this whiteboard, I wrote, what I like about us. And it must have been Grace and I. And I write, 1, we may be messy, but we clean up good. 2,
I feel like I remember that phrase.
if we don't have cake, we eat meatloaf. I don't know
What?
what that's referring to.
We never even made meatloaf. Like that makes absolutely no sense.
I have no idea. At 3, we think we're funny, and that's all that really counts.
I still live by those words.
4, we kill bed bugs without killing each other.
All right. Yeah.
Then I wrote, good night, Gracie.
I think the bed bugs were a good prep for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think almost everyone that stayed, because I think only 5 of us stayed
It was
during
you,
COVID.
me,
Mhm.
Grace, Liz, and Skyla.
Yeah. So there's only 5 of us during COVID. We usually had like 9 or 10 girls in this house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was even less people to interact with. But most of those girls had dealt with the bed bugs. But also, we were so bored, we started doing random things. Like at one point, we started a House Olympics
What? I don't remember
or something
that.
like that. I have this video of Liz standing in front of this whiteboard, and she wrote all our names down, and we were gonna do like certain Olympic style things for
I do
points.
remember this. We didn't
And
do
I-
half the things.
I know. I can't even remember one thing that was on there.
I do.
What is one? What is it?
Okay. Someone decided that we were going to do a hot wings challenge.
I do remember that was on the board.
I think it must have been. I
So
don't
we
know
were doing-
where else we would have
we-
gotten that.
It was the Hot Ones challenge that they do on Jimmy Fallon,
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen
where you eat progressively hotter wings and have to answer questions about yourself or like trivia
that. Oh,
questions.
did we do questions? I swear
Yes,
we didn't.
we were also asking questions while we were eating these wings.
Oh, I don't remember any of that.
You don't
but
remember
this is
it
why.
because
This is
Abby's
why.
got trauma from it.
I was going to say it was traumatic for me. Okay, so basically, we're sitting in this circle. I don't do spicy, like, at all. Like, someone else could be like, this isn't spicy at all. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is really spicy. Okay, so.
And we ordered these spiciest wings on the menu.
Yeah, like, we went up continually. So we all had a glass of milk next to us so that we could drink that. But we, like, weren't allowed to drink it until we were done eating the wing. And then we could drink it.
Right.
There were apparently rules to this whole thing. Anyways, so we are going around. We do this thing. Our roommate Skyla loves spicy, like loved the hottest wings, I think. Or at least she liked
She was
spicy,
into
okay?
it.
Even if she didn't love the hottest ones. I can't
She was
remember.
like, this isn't hot, and would just
Yeah.
answer the questions.
Every time. So she's like, okay, guys, these are the hottest ones. Make sure, like, you don't touch your eyes. Like, just be careful. Like, wash your hands before you're gonna, whatever. Well, lo and behold, a few minutes later, I eat the hottest one, and I have completely forgotten her warning. I rub my eye. My eyes are on fire. I mean, fire. And 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 any sane person probably would have run to a sink or like gotten up and like went to do something.
She just sits there and screams.
I just sat there and screamed, and I was screaming at somebody, "Get me a bowl! I need a bowl now!"
And we're just yelling at you too.
Yeah, well, someone gets me a bowl, and you're probably like, "Why the heck did she need a bowl?" Because in my mind, I need you to know what I'm thinking, okay? In my mind, when you eat something spicy in your mouth, okay, you don't drink water because it makes it worse. You drink milk because it helps it, okay? So in my mind, I'm thinking if I put my eyes in water, that might make it worse. And I don't want to chance making this any worse. So someone runs and gets me a bowl. I pour my cup of milk into the bowl and automatically slam my face in this bowl and start blinking my eyes in this bowl of milk. And it was one of the most bizarre things I've ever done. But it was so funny. And we have videos of it.
Oh, yes. I have a video of you slamming your face in the milk. So that will be on Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the same. The scream is the same vibe as the history of the day. The and you're just like standing in place. Anyways, I don't know who won that challenge.
Not me.
I think we were done after that.
I killed it.
Also, that was the day before my birthday. So we did that.
Oh.
We cleaned up. We started watching a movie. And then around midnight, this was my 21st birthday, mind you. Woo! Love that. 21st in quarantine. Anyways, we're watching a movie, and then someone rings our doorbell, and we're like, who in the world could that be? We're seeing no one. And it was like midnight.
What?
Yeah. And then we open the door, and it's some of the men from the men's house and some of our friends, Jolie, Juliana, Carly. And they had
Oh.
brought me a little gift and some cake, and they sang me happy birthday
Stop.
from the porch. And that was so cute. But that's how
That's
our Hot Wings
adorable.
night ended.
That's
Yeah.
adorable.
So that was a cute little birthday thing.
I also, you're talking about that, but my brain is still running the competitions as you're still talking, right?
Yeah, what other
And
competitions?
as I
do we
looked
have?
down at my next journal entry that I had flipped to here, I wrote, yesterday we came up with a bunch of things to do in competitions. Apparently, we kicked it off yesterday by writing a parody to Part of That World and recording it. Today, we are filming the
Oh.
music video.
That was part of our competitions?
I don't know why it was a competition.
That's so odd. But
But
we
it must have
did
been-
do that.
Our competitions must have been also just lists of things we were going to do.
That must have been like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I have the video that we're talking about the competitions. It's like, we're gonna kick off these games,
I have
and
no
Liz
idea.
is like, I'm gonna win, and we're but apparently it was all group activities.
Interesting.
But
Well-
we did write this parody together. And
Who
we
wrote
were-
it? You and Liz?
Liz and I wrote this parody to Part of Your World, and it was all about quarantine. It's actually pretty good.
I was going to say, it's good. The singing, on the other hand.
The singing is not great. But I remember to record it, we all sat on my bed with like the old Apple like cord headphones, and we would like sing into the little mic.
Yeah, they had like the little microphone and you'd hold it up to
Yeah,
your
and
mouth.
we would each sing a different part. And we were all just sitting watching the other people record their parts. And then we had the audio. And then we spent the entire next day recording a music video for this.
Yeah. And I will say, I watch it now, and I cringe so hard. Like, not gonna lie, that was so fun. Like, it took up so much of our time. It was a blast, but I watched that and I go, oh no. Like,
But
what
also,
were they thinking?
it's low key kind of good.
I know.
Like, we were just, we were driving to different outdoor locations. We were recording it, and we posted it online when we were
we
done.
put it on YouTube.
We put it
I
on
wrote-
YouTube, and then we all shared it to Facebook and Instagram at the
And-
time.
We got a pizza out of this.
Yeah, well, we had like in the first few hours, we hit like 1,000 views on this because we
No,
had
shut
shared
up.
it.
That's too many.
No, there's over 1,000 views on this video.
Seriously?
I remember the day we were watching it. We kept refreshing it over and over again because, like, I shared it on my Instagram, and people were like, mind you, everybody is home and has nothing to do.
That's
So
true.
quarantine's when TikTok took off. It's when like all these video people were taking off because what else are we doing but watching our phones?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think my dad shared it, and it got around that group of friends, and everybody's parents were sharing it. People were sharing it around
Yeah,
town.
that's
so
true.
everybody in our community had seen it, and then I get a call on the phone from this sweet man that would help out with our college ministry sometimes and like host dinners for us, and he goes, "Hey, are you guys still at the women's house?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm gonna order you a pizza to the house right now. I loved your music video." And he sent us pizza, and we're like, "Golly, we just made money off of this video." So
It
like
was
it
so
took up
good.
time. It was so fun, and we got something out of it.
Which was not the goal, but I mean, it was
No.
great.
And to be honest, it's a pretty good, like the video and the lyrics, pretty good. Just the singing, you got to get
Yeah.
over that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can find that video anywhere.
Oh, I for sure have it. I watched it the other day. It's on my regular Instagram still.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, you can. It's easy access. It's on my regular Instagram.
I feel like we should put it on our
We can for sure do that.
on our Instagram. Anyways, aside from our hot wing challenge and our parody song, I feel like we just did a bunch of random things. Like I remember biking all over
Well,
town with these.
Yeah, we found some bikes in the garage.
Yeah. That were like random and old, and we just biked everywhere around town. I have random pictures of us. Like, we would walk downtown because we were like maybe a 10-minute walk from downtown. And we're just taking random pictures. There's a picture of 4 of us sitting on top of a dumpster. Like, why? Don't know.
We nothing to do, but it was like a ghost town because nobody was going outside.
Yeah.
Nobody was going on walks. It was still chilly in Michigan when this started.
Right.
But we ride our bikes in the middle of the street to downtown, all over town. And also, one time, like on my birthday, Liz set up this scavenger hunt.
Oh, yeah.
So we were biking all over campus, all over town, and going to these different scavenger hunt locations. And so that was
And
also really fun.
We ran into the president of our college.
He was out for a walk, and he was
And he
like,
was like-
"How's it going?"
Yeah, he was like, hope you're having fun, ladies. Stay safe.
And he told me happy birthday, and I was like, "Wow, I'm honored."
I love him.
So that was really great too. But we were biking everywhere. We would take our bikes to a little skate park and ride
Well-
on the ramps.
I remember, this is so random. That's okay. I remember being in bed one morning and all of a sudden being woken up and being like, good morning. Come on, Abby. Wake up. Like, let's go. And I was like,
Like, where do we have to go?
what the heck? I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm asleep. And you and Grace are like so peppy and excited. And they're like, we need to braid your hair. And I was like, what? Like, why do you want to braid my hair? And they're like, we're braiding our hair. Look, I have a braid crown. and somebody, I think you had braided
I
Grace's
was braiding.
hair
I
in a-
braided my hair and Grace's hair.
in a crown, and you guys must have already done yourselves and were bored, so you came and woke me up, pulled me out of bed so that you could braid my hair, and then we took pictures, and we just looked like little English boys. Like, it's horrible.
We woke you up for that. Like, there were no rules in
No.
this quarantine house. Who knows what time of the morning it was? But I woke up that morning and said, I'm going to give everybody a braid crown. But that wasn't the only braiding I did in quarantine.
Stop. No, I forgot about this.
So mind you, we had so much time that I also gave everyone cornrows.
No, not everyone. I did not participate.
So many braids. You know, like when you go to like the beach in Cancun and the girls would come back with teeny tiny braids on their head.
I've never done that, but okay.
Anyways, they would like do their bangs, but I did everyone's whole head with these. And I think it would take me like 2 hours per person. So
Could
we'd,
you
like,
please
put a movie
clarify
on.
everyone?
I think like 4 people.
Really?
I did mine. I did my own, which
I
was
know you
I thought
did
impressive.
Skyla.
I did Skyla's, I did Liz's, and I did Grace's.
Really?
I did 4 heads.
I must have been the only one and not let
Well,
you do
it
it.
took like this might have been after you went home.
Maybe actually.
But it took me about 2 hours per person, and so we'd pop a movie in, and I'd get to Braden, and we had nowhere to be, you know, because we would not have done this had we had somewhere to be, but we just had so much time, and then so we left them in for like a few days. We wanted to see how long we could leave them in, and they did not look good on any of us. And when we took them out, our hair was huge, and that was, I think, the main goal. Well, I wanted to see if I could do it, but then we're like, our hair is going to be huge. And so then the 3 of us, me, Grace, and Liz got dressed up like the 80s. Like we did our makeup like the 80s, and we took another photo shoot.
I think I remember some of these photos. Just
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit.
So we just had so much time, and we were all down for anything because we had too much time. But there was a lot of braiding in quarantine as well.
I honestly think that we first became really close on our first mission trip together, and we talked
Right.
about that last week. But then I think what really solidified you and I like being so close that we would hang out even when we weren't living together was this year and time we're talking about right now, like this COVID time, and just I guess having lived together for another year, but also the summer after this. Like I moved home at Easter, and then whenever you moved home that summer, we were hanging out all the time, and we did
Right.
everything together.
Well, at first we weren't allowed to hang out because you had gone home. You could only
That's
see your
true.
family. But then, okay, as if COVID wasn't hard enough on our town, we had a dam break in our
Oh.
town, and
Mhm,
it
the
flooded.
Your flood.
Yeah, we had a 500-year flood. It flooded so much of our town. So Samaritan's Purse came to our town, and you can volunteer to like clean out houses. And because of that, Abby and I were allowed to hang out again. She was gonna
Basically,
go volunteer.
in our town, COVID was the biggest deal until the flood hit, and then it was like COVID was out the doors, and everybody was like going around town volunteering, helping in each other's homes.
Right, because
like
people needed help. So we're like, well, this is really important. So
Yeah.
like, we're gonna go. We're gonna help you out. Like, we're still gonna be careful. Like, we had to get our
Right.
temperature checked every day and
yeah,
everything. But it's like also these people really need us. So Abby and I got to hang out, and after that, we're like, well, we're already hanging out.
yeah.
So then we started hanging out all summer long.
We embroidered T-shirts. I'm trying to
We
think
did
what
so
else we
much,
did.
and also TikTok.
Oh,
We did a lot of.
we started a TikTok where we would rate things. It was called Abby and Bailey's Ratings.
And we made a little jingle. So one of your siblings or something made a piano song to
Yeah.
it. And,
And
it
it
was like
went-
Abby and Bailey's Ratings. And it was, I mean,
Honestly, it was decent.
we had a lot of requests to be writing stuff. And
Yeah,
it was
I know.
pretty funny. That is also a private account now.
yeah.
But before that, before I moved home, when I was still living in the women's house and you were living at home, we would FaceTime each other and watch TikToks together.
Are you serious?
Yes, and I
That
think
sounds
that's also
so lame.
I also think that's where like
Oh.
our boy like obsession got crazy because we would be like, this is
Me
who
too.
I'm watching, and then
I
we'd go watch
remember.
their videos together, or we'd be like, so and so's live is up now because there were so many lives.
I got something. If you're watching our video right now, it is so chaotic. Okay. I remember specifically, okay, we would be somehow our TikTok, both of us, got us on to the side where it was like the Christian boys that were like posting all these things, okay? So we were like, oh, look at that cute guy. Look at this cute guy, right? Everything we didn't have. So I remember being on some Christian Guy's account, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna comment on this.
Like on your own, you were doing
And
this, right?
yeah, and I don't remember what the comment was. And if you do, Bailey, I don't want to know.
I don't remember what it was.
But I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I commented thinking no one is gonna see this. Like, it's just
There
a
were
comment
thousands of
online.
comments.
Like thousands upon thousands of comments. Okay. Bailey found it.
because I see the same video, it pops up on my For You page. I
And
click on
I-
the comments. The very first comment was Abby.
And I was mortified. And since that
You were
day,
like asking him a question.
was I really?
Yeah, but like you were trying to be flirty about it.
Stop. Oh, that's so embarrassing even now. Okay. But I remember like since that day, I have never commented on anyone's TikTok, and that's why. Never, and I never will. Actually,
I think
nope, that's
it's-
why. I've commented on our like channel, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's different.
Yeah, and I think what they do is they boost your friends' comments to the
I
top
know.
because there have multiple times I've clicked on something and it's like someone I follow or something.
I
They're
know.
the first comment, and I go, I will never be commenting because I do not want people seeing that from me. It's
Right.
a very vulnerable spot to be in.
I know.
But I think I screenshotted your comment and sent it to you, and it was the best moment for me.
oh, I was so mortified. It was horrible. Yeah.
Also, I did want to talk about this,
Yeah.
and I probably should have talked about it when we were talking about bikes.
Oh, yeah.
But right before, like, this is after quarantine had started, but businesses were still running. I think like a week later they started to shut their doors, and we thought that because our governor shut everything down, we thought it meant they weren't allowed to serve food anymore, like they had to be shut down completely.
Oh, stop.
So I think Grace's mom like Venmoed us some money to go get dinner, and we were gonna go to Los Palominos. We love Los Palominos.
And that was what? How far away was that from our house?
A few miles, probably 2 miles, 3
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
And we said though, we're not gonna drive there. We're gonna bike there.
Like
So-
idiots. That was not my choice, and I did not agree.
Abby was that amount of angry the entire time that we were riding, and Grace and I were
No.
giggling the whole time.
I was more mad than that because guess what? And I'm sorry that I'm totally interrupting and taking over the story, but I don't really care. It started snowing while we
It
were
was
biking,
so cold.
and I was livid.
And it was like along a really busy road. Like it took us so long. And then when we get there, we have cups full of queso, cups full of salsa, huge bags of chips. We've got so much food, and now we've got to bike home with it.
And it was nice and warm when we got it. Do you think it's warm after you bike it home in snow weather? It's like, I mean, and it was like a light snow. You know what I mean? Like it was,
But it
'cause
was
obviously
chilly.
it was March. Like it wasn't, like there wasn't snow on the ground. But,
Right.
oh
But,
my word. I was
yeah,
so
that
mad
was-
at you guys.
We were laughing there really hard. But also, it was not a great decision. We should have just rode our bikes. And come to find out, we had read the news wrong. They were still serving food. It just all had to be takeout.
Oh, yeah.
So we were like, this is our last supper, our last Palomino supper. And it wasn't. We could have eaten there again.
I do love that restaurant. That's my favorite
Yes.
restaurant, probably. But
Oh, yes.
I was not happy that day. And I think it made it worse that all you guys did was laugh at me the whole time. Like you didn't empathize. There was nothing nice at all.
There was no way we
You
were
and
gonna admit
Grace.
we were cold. Yeah, we were not going to admit we were cold. We were just making fun of you the whole time. Because you would go through little bouts where you'd be just angry. And it was so
Yeah.
funny when you would get angry. So
Yeah.
that's probably not a good friend thing, but
It was funny.
yes.
Well, I think quarantine was a wonderful time, and I hope it doesn't happen again.
Oh, I never want to do that again, but also what a nice time to be able to do nothing. And
I
we
know.
were thankfully healthy.
Yes.
Like we stayed
That's
healthy,
true.
but we also didn't see anyone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But there was a lot going on and nothing at the same time.
yeah. Well, Thanks for joining us and listening to our quarantine adventures and funny stories.
Yes.
I feel like half of this podcast we just laugh so hard. I don't know if you'll be able to understand what we
We
said.
bounced around a little bit.
Oh, yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a review or rating on wherever you're listening or watching.
Like, comment, interact.
Subscribe.
Go to our Instagram to see all these videos, especially the milk one of Abby.
Oh, boy. I'll never live that moment down. Well,
No.
come back and join us next week for episode number 5.
Yes.
All
Thanks
right.
for listening.